everyone, it's Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you today with Tuesday Talks. As I reach out to most of the folks in the community and ask you what topics you would like to hear about, unanimously, this has been something of a subject matter as late, and even my daughter, who is a clinician, has suggested it. The topic today is, when is it considered too late to transition to senior living for your senior loved one? I noticed it as of recently with a lot of the clients that I'm working with. It's imminent situation. So it's very overwhelming, not only on your senior loved one, but it's also overwhelming on them. So, and they really truly can't benefit or enjoy what senior living has to offer, especially if there's activities involved, the amenities that are involved. So you want to make sure that you're not waiting to the last minute to actually approach the subject or transition. There usually isn't a single too late moment, but there is a point when waiting makes this transition much harder, riskier, and more emotionally stressful for everyone involved. Here is the topics about it. Families often realize they waited too long when one or more of these things happen. One or more of these things happen. A fall, hospitalization, or medical crisis forces a rushed move. Your loved one becomes socially isolated or depressed. Care needs exceed what the family can actually provide and safely provide. Medications, mistakes, missed meals, or hygiene issues become common. A spouse or family caregiver becomes exhausted or burnt out, very, very prevalent, or sometimes they become ill themselves. The senior can no longer participate meaningfully in community activities because their health has declined too far. So the best transition usually happens before a crisis, while the person can still express preferences, build friendships, learn the environment, participate in activities, maintain some independence and dignity. A common mistake in waiting until someone needs full-time nursing level care before considering senior living, many people actually thrive more in independent living communities, assisted living communities, memory care communities if cognitive decline is present, when they move early enough to adapt gradually. I agree, especially with showing that they need 24/7 care, more skilled care. That, yes, a lot of people call that nursing home. But if you're noticing this beforehand, it's a gradual aging in place that you could start with independent, move to assisted living, and then move on to memory care. So they get to enjoy all those processes. As I told the client the other day, nobody wears the scarlet letter. Yes, we know who the folks are in memory care because they are in a secure environment. But independent assisted living, nobody says, oh, you're assisted or you're independent. Nobody knows the difference as the other residents. Some practical signs: it may be time to seriously explore options now. Repeated falls or near falls, increasing forgetfulness, difficulty managing finances or medications, weight loss or poor nutrition, loneliness after losing a spouse or no longer driving, housekeeping becomes unmanageable, frequent ER visits, caregiver stress affecting family health or relationships. This is something that I work within this realm quite a bit. Most of these are what's happening with a lot of my clients. So we're having to move forward within senior living. And yes, it becomes very stressful and very overwhelming at times. But if we do it prematurely or plan ahead and be more proactive, this would not occur and would be so overwhelming because there's a plan in place. Emotionally, many seniors initially resist the idea because senior living can feel like a loss of control, but after moving, families often report there better nutrition, more social interaction, improved medication management, less anxiety, safer daily living, relief for caregivers. I couldn't agree with this more. I always tell my clients, families, to give it 3 months to really navigate that for their loved one and getting adjusted to their new environment. And the best part is now the meals are regulated according to their diet, so that better nutrition is something that is being recognized early on. If somebody is diabetic or has got a cardiac issue, the food that is being presented to them or the meals that are presented to them are abiding by that, and not having to go out shopping, cooking and cleaning up. So, and guess what? Enjoying a meal with somebody else and breaking bread with somebody else, it makes the meal even more enjoyable. More social interaction, that's great, because even no matter what the weather is outside, inclement weather, or if it's in the season of winter when there's snow and all, it's very hard to participate in outdoor activities or socialize with somebody else in the community, meaning the residential community. So now you're under one roof, meaning that here it is that your neighbor down the hallway, you're going to go have lunch together. How wonderful is that, or you're going to do an activity together. Music is coming in, or there's an exercise program, or there is some kind of social activity. So guess what? Interaction is there, definitely there. Improved medication management when it's scheduled according to what the doctor orders, and it is administered, actually given to and watched over that it's being taken. Guess what? That medication management is now on cue. It is no longer missed meds, or I dropped it on the floor, can't remember if I took it or I did not take it. It is now being managed appropriately. Less anxiety, a lot of stress living by yourself. Watching TV even becomes very stressful, what's going on in the news and around us. The anxiety of sleeping at night, or hearing a noise in the house, and what is that? Oh, the bad weather, or what am I going to do tomorrow? Loss of electricity. There is so much of an anxiety of living alone, whereas in senior living, all that worry is no longer prevalent. So it's wonderful. Safe daily living, guess what? There is somebody watching over your loved one at all times. There is nursing usually on board, so if there is a need, or if there was a little trip or anything, they're acknowledging it right away. Some people that live alone don't have any mechanisms that they have an alert system. They could be laying on the floor all day after a fall. So the safe living is very, very important, and it gives a peace of mind not only to that senior themselves, but also to their family. And it's relief for the caregivers, because honestly, as I told a client the other day who's dealing with a loved one who has dementia, her husband, and it's very hard, that role reversal, head of household is now the one that needs the care, is the fact that, guess what? I call it the 36-hour caregiver. There's actually a book out there. We all know there's only 24 hours in a day, but it does feel like 36. Because of sundowners and all, guess what? When he is up all night and sleeping during the day, and it's normal to sleep in the evening hours, one eye is open to make sure that he is not leaving, wandering, falling, or anything of that nature. So that caregiver is really, truly not resting and enjoying their day. It becomes very problematic and very task-oriented. So relief for the caregiver is very important too. So if you're wondering whether it's too late, it usually means the situation is already becoming difficult, which is a sign it's worth evaluating options sooner rather than later, or waiting for a crisis. A useful approach is to schedule tours and conversations before making a final decision. Seeing communities in person changes how both seniors and families feel about the idea. Quite honest with you, that's why I do tours with my clients and help navigate that, or pick out choices that are really aligned to their needs now, which I call the 4 pillars of needs. So that being Financial plays a big part, that you want to be able to age in place. Medically, are they appropriate as we age in place, and or our diseases become more prevalent, like a diabetic, and that they are able to help with those matters. Social, how social is that person, and how engaged are they going to be, or invited to be engaged, and spirituality. So those 4 needs should never be negated. And a lot, we noticed that during COVID, that a lot of those needs, especially social and spirituality, was definitely something that was problematic for our senior community. So to no further ado, I leave you to my website, which is www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com. There you will find my demographics. You will also find my bio, along with a lot of resources, as well as various options on senior living, but also a library of all these talks, that being Tuesday Talks, and now WOW, which is Wonderful O Wednesday, and Words of Wisdom. So tomorrow would be Words of Wisdom, and we're going to actually talk about another requested topic on June 3rd, is why we use senior placement company when needing to transition your senior loved ones to senior living. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, so please tune in. And next Tuesday Talks, we're going to be talking about, since this is a lot of observances in June as well, it is also Cataract Awareness Month and Oral Health Month. What thoughts and suggestions that can improve our senior loved ones' eye and oral health? As always, I wish you a blessed week. I'll see you tomorrow for a wonderful Wednesday, WOW, and Words of Wisdom. And as always, it's a pleasure to work with you, and give it some thought. Don't wait. It's not a matter of when or if. It's now that we really need to prepare ahead of time. Bye-bye now. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.